Good afternoon. I'm sure you're all sick and tired of budget talk, but I wanted to come on and give you a couple of minutes of not my thoughts and opinions, just what the impact is likely to be on the local property market and our clients, etc. I've not got much of a voice, so I apologise. So, headlines from the budget, the key headlines in terms of properties. The main one is definitely the increase of stamp duty on second homes and buy-to-lets by 2 points. So if you didn't know already, there's a phased stamp duty for not first time owners, for primary residential homes. So whenever somebody's buying a property in the UK, depending on value, is dependent on the percentage that they would pay. For a second home, or for a buy-to-let, or for a limited company, they pay a 3% surcharge, if you like, on top of that stamp duty. That has been increased to 5%, so it's increased by 2 points to 5%. So, for example, if somebody was buying a £1 million home in the Lakes as a second home, and by second home it could be third, fourth, fifth, sixth, it doesn't literally have to be second home, it's just not their primary residence, then today, or yesterday, they would pay £130,000 worth of stamp duty, which is a fair chunk. Tomorrow, that will go up to £150,000, so it would be an increase of £20,000 at £1 million. So that is a fair chunk. What's the likely impact of that? I don't think it's enough to put buyers off, but they will definitely, for the next 6 months, take that into consideration, and offers are likely going to be slightly lower. So, as any policy like this always has an impact, it's actually going to probably impact the working people, if you like, or the people that they're not. That the purpose of the policy is not supposed to impact. So, for example, if you've got £1 million home around here, you've obviously done very well, and you're in one of the top percentages in the country. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're rich or you've got lots of money to go and spend. And if you're taking less for your property, you've got less to buy, etc. So. That's probably the likely impact. I don't think it's enough to put people off going into the marketplace. So, an interesting one. Obviously, it's a very difficult job they've got. They're never ever going to appease everyone. I think that was one of those policies that, in my opinion, I wasn't going to give you my opinion. In my opinion, appeases their audience, but maybe doesn't have the impact that they're hoping for. But hey, we'll see. Other big things, capital gains tax will go from, so the £350,000 threshold will remain until the end of their parliament, I believe, and above that, and for second homes, it will go from 10% to 18%. And 20 to 24%, which is quite a fair rise. However, either people were scaremongering, or the story had been planted out there somewhere that it was going to be more like 45%. So everything feels a bit more watered down than the media were potentially saying it could be. Whether that was on purpose or what, but yeah, the result is probably nowhere near as bad as what many predicted. This won't impact many people, but the business asset disposal relief, or the entrepreneurial relief, as it used to be called, of £1 million, so tax free up to £1 million, that remains. However, on top of that, it'll increase from 10% to 14% next year, and from 14% to 18% the following 2 years after that, which is almost doubling. So it's for anyone planning to sell a very large company, or shares in a company that exceeds that, that's quite a big hit. inheritance tax, which obviously impacts a lot of people. There are not. Sorry, I was talking when I mentioned capital gains tax before. Obviously, I mentioned the threshold. I meant the threshold for inheritance tax isn't changing at 350. So the inheritance tax isn't changing at 350. The main changes with inheritance tax is the agricultural land. So previously, if you were selling land, there'd be a lot of relief on land over £1 million. I think now that's gone up by 50%. I think it was, which is a heck of an increase. But yeah, that doesn't impact many people at all. And a headline to many people, which as someone who doesn't really drink, seems a strange one, but a reduction in draft alcohol duty of about 1%, which will reduce. I'm sure every pub is right now reducing their prices by about 3p per pint. So yeah, I'm sure that will impact a lot of people. But overall, I don't think there was anything major. I think maybe there was some leaks that like always happens beforehand that was would scaremonger and people start panicking, and then what actually came out probably wasn't as bad as what could have happened. But there was a change to minimum wage as well, from whatever it is now up to £12.21, and an increase for 18 to 21-year-olds to £10 an hour. Again, it doesn't. I don't think it'll have a massive impact. My worry with with the change of the minimum wage is that all it actually does is make people who earn slightly more than the minimum wage, their relative salaries come down, and that's the biggest impact. And also, if people on minimum wage have now got more money, then products in shops are likely to go up slightly. So I'm not sure, again, that has the impact that they desire. But there you go. So I hope that gives you a snapshot of the headlines with the properties. The stamp duty on second homes is definitely the biggest thing to come out of it, and for buy-to-lets. And obviously there's an increase in employers' national insurance, which won't impact most people, but for those employers out there, it'll be a few £100s a year increase likely. So yeah, that's it. What we'll do is see how the next 2-3 months play out, and then come back to you with an update of how that is impacting the market and what we're seeing. But from headlines, I don't think we'll see really much at all. So I hope that helps, and hopefully we can stop talking about it for a few months and let Christmas come in with some political calm.